Are you homeschooling right now with more than one child and you are thinking, how am I going to do this? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Lorianne from It's All Primary, and today's video is on 8 tips to help the homeschooler when it comes to teaching more than one child. So if you are a homeschooler, or if even a teacher looking for homeschool ideas or remote learning ideas, press that subscribe button and so that you don't miss any future videos. So this video is going to be a continuation of some other homeschool videos that you can check out. One of them is right here. So this video is dedicated to Tiffany. And Tiffany was a parent of mine almost 2 years ago. So Tiffany is a mom who has 3 boys at home. 2 are school age and 1 is coming up to school age. And she made a post on Facebook saying that she didn't know how she was going to be able to do it. So Tiffany, this post is for you. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have 3 boys at home, but I have worked with many families, including some nieces and nephews, when it comes to homeschooling. And I've also taught a one-room school with grades 1 to 9 in the same room for a couple days a week. I only did that for a year, but I think I can speak that it is a challenge when you've got different grades and you're trying to teach them different things. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 8 tips that you can try. Will these work? Maybe. I hope they're going to work for you. And the reason why I say maybe is because every family is unique. So some of these will definitely work for you. I don't know if all 8 will work for you. So let's get started. Tip number 1, create a loose schedule, or what I can sometimes will also call chunking of times. What I mean by that is, for some people, saying, okay, from 9 to 10 we're going to do this, and from 10 to 11 we're going to do this, and from we're going to have at 12 o'clock we're going to eat lunch for 20 minutes, and then you're going to play for 20 minutes. You know, you've got these very rigid timetables, and that doesn't always work when you've got multiple children that you're going to instruct. So what I always recommend is finding out what all the kids need. And if you've got a whiteboard, that would be really great, or a bulletin board, or something that actually you can write on. So whiteboard would be better. And map it all out. And here I'll show you an example. Okay, here is a whiteboard that I turned the opposite way because I think you need more vertical than horizontal. And here are 3 kids, J, E, and B, and their grades, and then you're looking at the different subjects that you will do. And basically what you're going to do is figure out what each of the children need to do, and then see which ones you can do together, right? So lunch is the one in the middle, and if you've got Jay needing to do math, and because he's the older student or child, you might want to do math here, and then do something quiet for E and B, because maybe they get some playtime with the Lego. Maybe E can do Lego building as well as they're in grade 1. Like I said, or you can just do a reading time if they're able to do that for 20 minutes. Because you want to try and keep a lot of these in 20-minute chunks, except for the ones that are group times, and you can maybe stretch them out to about an hour. Maybe PE, gym type of activities can be done half an hour to 40 minutes. But do them this way, and then take a piece of paper and have a visual schedule for each student, each child. There are free visual schedules if you've got a color printer and some Velcro at home, or even if you're willing to cut things out, or it depends on your schedule. And have this out where everyone can see it. You can give them create an incentive chart so that when they get something done. Maybe if they do it 3 days in a row, they get a little extra free time. So again, a lot of this, don't expect all of this to work in the first couple days. Sometimes this will take a couple weeks, but you can do this. Now, tip number 2 is what I call play, work, work, play. And what I mean by that is there are going to be times when you have got to work one-on-one with a child. And the subject that usually requires this is math. I find that there are a lot of subjects such as social studies, even science, and some language arts that overlap. So if your children are close in grade, you will be able to teach them together, right? And then just make some little adaptations or modifications depending on what it is. But when it comes to math, math is very separate from grade to grade. So you will need to have opportunities where you can work one-on-one with one of your children and then give the other children time to play. Then you're going to spend some time working with them and then let the older one play. So that's play, work, work, play. Tip number 3 is the ebbs and flows of your day. And this is why I am not rigid with a timetable when it comes to homeschooling. Yes, I like to do things prior to lunch or after lunch. I tend to do the heavier things before lunch while kids are fresh, because I do find that that's a good time. But you will also find when you're at home, if you're very observant, you will start to see how your children ebb and flow through the day. You'll look to see when their energy is highest and when their energy is lowest. And even for yourself, try and keep track of when your energy is up and when your energy is down, because the ebbs and flows of energy can be real triggers for arguments and crabbiness, and we don't want any of that in homeschooling. If you know one child is up and energized at a certain time of the day, this is when you want to think about, okay, if he's most alert here, I should be looking for the toughest things, the toughest subject to work with him. Or if his energy is high right out of the roof, then maybe you want a high impact physical activity to maybe bring him down a few notches, right? So you've got to spend a couple days tracking the ebb and flow. You may find certain days are more productive than others. When you're homeschooling, it's not going to just, happen like that. You've got to look at the days, you've got to look at the hours, you've got to look at the, all the little nuances and all the little triggers for the kids. And if you find that they tend to, if you've got 3 boys and they tend to start fighting with each other at 2 o'clock. Why 2 o'clock? Who knows why it's 2 o'clock? But that might be a time when you have 2 go play and 1 work, right? Tip number 4, and it comes back to this idea of ebbs and flows, is you're going to need to build stamina. Now, this is something I do in class, because after a 2-month holiday, such as July and August, many kids have a hard time focusing and sitting still in September. And so what I do is I start tracking how long can they sit, and know that with practice they'll be able to sit longer and longer. So if you think about it this way, where I live, we've just had a 2-week spring break, and now we're doing remote learning. And so the stamina might be quite short for the kids right now. If that is the case, then what I want you to do is do something like silent reading or quiet reading in order to be an independent reader, that they sit in one spot, they don't move from that spot, and they keep books open. So they're always looking at books. Ideally, they were reading them, but when you've got younger little guys, it's having them just sit there and looking at books. So what I'm doing is, my goal is to build stamina. Now, I'll tell you, usually the first day or even 2 or 3 days that I do that, the stamina is somewhere less than a minute. The moment someone starts talking or says, hey, look at this, right? We want to create this time where they are quiet and they're looking or reading books. So you have to set up a high expectation and you've got to follow through. And I talk about this in another video, which I'll just show you the thumbnail right here, but you can check out after this is over. It's taking the time to build stamina. And how long will it take to build stamina? It depends on the age. And this is something, again, you've got to look at as far as what you're going to be able to get them to do on their own. Because one of the things that is great about homeschooling is you can have group activities and then you can have individual activities. And for traditional homeschoolers, they will pick a topic that all the kids like or love or somewhat like, and they will do it together as a family. Another activity that you can do as a family is a family read aloud, and there are some great books. And if you need a few suggestions, just send me a message down below. Tip number 5, teacher switching. I got this idea from a homeschool parent where they told me that their husband is excellent at art, and what was the other thing? Can't even remember. But if your husband, as the mom, if you are the main person homeschooling, then talk to your spouse or your partner or whomever else is in the house, if it happens to be a 2-parent house, and see if they can take a subject or two. And it doesn't matter whether it's art or what we sometimes call the easy subjects. Here's my quotes. It gives you a little bit of a break, and especially if you are having to work from home, here's an opportunity to do that. Even if say you're good at PE and they're not, then you can take them out of the house and take them out in the backyard, or take them for a walk, or put on a channel called Go Noodle on the internet, which is free. Give some sort of activity and do it away so that the noise is not interfering with the work of the other parent in the house. Tip number 6. Don't worry about the future. We are living in a very crazy time right now, and we have no idea how long this is going to go. Focus on today and the next couple days. And I know sometimes that can be crazy, but I read a book that says do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough problems of its own. Focus on today. And that's what I would say. It's hard to do, but it can be done. And it will take away some of the stress. Just focus on today. And if today is a bad day, then tomorrow's going to be a good day. Tomorrow is a new day. Anna Green Gable says tomorrow is fresh with no mistakes. And that's what we got to work on. We got to work on keeping you sane for today, and then we build on the next day, and we're building stamina for you too, and the next day, and the next day. Tip number 7. Find out your teacher's office hours. And goes into tip number 8. Ask for help if you need it. And help, and don't feel like you are a terrible mother or father if you ask for help. You know, sometimes it's just, can I just get clarification on this? I want to make sure that I'm teaching it correctly. Or do you happen to have any extra resources or websites that you can point me to help me work on this with my child? There is nothing wrong with asking help. I love it when parents ask me for help because I have resources and I want to be able to help them. So that is all 8 tips. We did it. If you got any value from this, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and please subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. If you have a homeschool video that you are interested in seeing, please write it down in the comments. I love to read the comments, and I always do my best to respond to every single one of them. I hope you are having a great day. Homeschooling is a marathon. It really is. And there are going to be good days and there are going to be bad days, but hopefully you are going to have a lot more good days than bad days. And enjoy the journey. It will stretch you as a person. It stretches me as a teacher. And just know you're not alone in this. There are so many families out there homeschooling for the very first time. So have a great day. We will see you in the next video. Take care.